Hello friends, you are watching Transport Fever on the Colonel Failure YouTube channel. And I know you could be forgiven for thinking you were watching someone else, because usually I very cleverly try and set up a passing shot to kick things off. But today I decided that I'd follow along this beast that is currently hauling quite a lot of oil up and over the bridge around El Paso. There's another train carrying some oil-based products, heads in the opposite direction. You can see all this for yourself. My commentary is largely redundant, as I'm sure some of you might have noticed already. But you know, I do it anyway because you know, that's kind of what I do. Anyway, I can't stop watching this one. Sorry, no, we're gonna go the full distance on this because it's just so ruddy pretty. You know, you've seen it all. You know, I've watched just about every train that the game's got going, and I've watched it from multiple different angles and over various different bits and pieces. But goodness me, isn't this just a lot of niceness happening right here? Shall I get on with the show? Yeah, I think I will. Right. Okay. There we go. Right. Immediately, it's like having a cold bucket of water splashed over you to wake you up from a beautiful dream. Snapping off from the follow cam there. Right, last time around we got the commuter service running with a suitable number of stations. We've moved this one a little bit closer to Sioux Falls. Whether or not it pays off, who knows? We moved this one a little closer to El Paso. Whether it pays off, see previous. And we built one more out near Detroit, which will definitely work because it's basically in Detroit. Now, I need to get a bridge over Detroit here at some point, or a crossing of some description. We could just run a level crossing there, but I mean, nobody is going to enjoy that. That's going to queue forever. The volume of traffic that will go through there is going to be significant. So some form of bridge would probably be a good idea. You know what? I'm going to do it right now. Yeah, I'm not hanging around. We're getting on with it. First off, it's going to be one of these. We'll throw this up here, right? That's kind of straight, but in the sense that it's not straight in the slightest. That's straighter, and then hook that onto there, like so. Bring this one in. That's it. You know, we're second guessing the AI. The AI knows kind of what it wants to do, but I'm telling it exactly what it needs to do. I like the way that these are now splaying out from the station. That's obviously as designed. Now, I'm feeling like doing something, you know, stupid here. So let's see if we can't get a bridge to transcend all of that. I don't see why it wouldn't, but let's go. It's taken 3, but I think that looks rather charming. Do we go stone? You know where we're going to end up, obviously. You've just got to be done. That's the nicest one. Right, okay, yeah. Now, at some point, I will add additional bridge options into things, and a couple of you have said, like, for the love of God, man, use the bridge mod. Or have gone, no, look, if you use the up and down tool, you can create gorgeous-looking bridges with no problem at all. And I intend to do just that. And unwittingly, I've actually led my way into the kind of the mod of the day with this rather ham-fisted introduction. We've got a new bridge that we're going to add into today's episode, which we shall use to connect up where we are now out to Santa Ana. And I'm going to continue calling it. Actually, I'm on the fence as to whether to continue calling it Santa Ana or not, given that we've got kind of a southern states feel to the towns we're using so far. So, you know, Sioux Falls and El Paso. I bet Sioux Falls is in like North Dakota or somewhere, isn't it? Yeah. Okay. Well, you've kind of shot your face in it. Shot your face. Good God, man! How about you get to the intro and let's pretend this never happened. I was attempting to say shot yourself in the foot, but that came out rather differently. Anyway, let's crack on with today's escapade, shall we? Right, so we're going to head out from Detroit, following our main line here, and we're going to head out to Santa Ana, which is in And hold on. Now, if we just do a quick geography recap for you. So this island here, or it's not really an island, but this side of the river is this is all North America, right? So the only rename that I'm going to do a rename on Gilbert because it's not famously North American. So I'll take your suggestions as to what Gilbert should be called, and then you've got the UK up here. Now I can't give the UK 5 towns. That's ridiculous. So we'll also rename Overland Park, and Santa Ana can have a redub as well and remain American. So Lubbock, Salem, Fort Worth, they will all be UK. And then Brussels, obviously, which I have renamed already, Flint or Lancaster are going to be Europe. Maybe Salem should be Europe as well. And then we'll have Lubbock, Fort Worth as UK. All right, you know what? Let's do some renaming now so I remember that I've done this. Salem, EU, name pending. I will give them a rename when we get there. Overland Park is going to be North America. Actually, all of the Americas, right? Lubbock as well is going to be UK. Everything else I will probably remember. But you can never be too certain with me. No, well, Fort Worth's gone. In which case you are about to become... Come on, you need something. You are going to become Wolverhampton. There we go. That'll do nicely. So we've got wolves there. You know what? I'm going now. And this one will be, I don't know, Strood. There we go. Strood and Wolverhampton line, famous the world around, as I'm sure you can possibly imagine. This one we will go with. I think this is going to be Dortmund. There we go, bit of Germany going in there, and then over here we will go with Barcelona. Why the hell not? And finally, instead of Lancaster, what's this going to be? I'm rapidly reducing the options you have for getting stuck into things. Let's go with Krakow. That'll do nicely. Okay, smashing. Right, that's Europe named there. That's all there is in Europe. Brussels, Dortmund, Barcelona, and Krakow. Then Indianapolis is going to become Shanghai, and Moreno Valley is going to be Wellington. Okay, right, there we are. That's is that everything? Are we done here? Can we now get on with something? So you've got, okay, right, there you go, people. You've got 2 US cities, North American cities to play with. Throw it in there. Or shall I deny you? No, I'm not going to deny you that choice. I will take anywhere you like on the North American continent, given that there are no South American trains available in the game. Right, so from here, we need to go to Overland Park, new name pending, and Santa Ana. And I think we will go all the way to Santa Ana because that takes us the full distance on the map. Now then, whereabouts is it? So if we go as the crow would fly, we kind of shave the mountainside here. I mean, it's tempting just to. Let's have a quick look. All right, to do something like that, which might be quite nice. We did a lot of tunnelling in the Alps. And there will be tunnels still to come in this series, but let's go around the outside. Let's keep everything topside. We will still be using tunnels to aid with traffic management as the series progresses. But right now we're going to stay up the top. Right. Now then, the dilemma I have at this point. I mean, it's not the biggest dilemma I'm ever going to have, but, I share it with you nonetheless. The dilemma I have is, do I want my commuter service to continue all the way up to Santa Ana? Because it's flipping miles away. Detroit's got 3 stations, but I could quite easily turn this into kind of a staging point for onward travel. Now, we're going to get to Overland Park from Detroit's 2nd station, so we'll hit Overland Park and then Strood out of here. But we've still got room for effectively another 3 routes, or 2 routes beyond that one. So Dortmund, I would imagine, would be 1. You could go mad and go all the way to Wolverhampton if you felt like it. Don't know. I haven't really figured out exactly what I want to do with that yet. So yeah, that's where my head's at. But the other thing I was thinking is that potentially we could run from here out to Overland Park as well, to cross then across to Dortmund instead of going to Strood. So you'd have kind of crossing tracks. Yeah, I'm not thrilled at the notion, to be honest. And I quite like having to force, or rather, I quite like the idea that passengers are forced to change lines in order to get where they want to go. Now, what have you done here? Why have we created a? No, the lump is all natural. That's not an unnatural lump. Right. Okay. Now then, before I complete this line, let's get on to today's mod of the day today. And it is, as you probably will have seen in the preview last episode, is this rather magnificent steel girder bridge. I mean, look at this. That's just terrific, and it comes with options. So you can increase the height, which I'm going to need to do because the banks of my river. Let's find a camera angle that works for us here. The banks for the river here are quite high up, so we're going to want to go a little higher still. 20 meters, that'll do the trick. Very nice indeed. You can adjust the number of tracks, and I'm going to have 4 tracks coming across here. I don't know why at the current time, I just am. And then the number of arches. Right, yeah, see, look at that. Fantastic. Not cheap, no. But does it look good? Why, yes it does. And I'm not going to overuse this. I'm going to use it in maybe 1 or 2 places, but we shall employ it sparingly so that it maintains a cherishable kind of feel. Now then, actually, the second set of tracks there might make sense if I ever decide to make some plastic. I might decide to make some plastic. You never know. Goods are a part of the business. So now let's just think about the orientation of this bridge. If we go across here, which is it's more or less the angle we want, right? Or slightly less than more. It could go like that, and then maybe add a third. Because frankly, having more arches, I mean, what's not to like? Look at that. That's going to be brilliant. I mean, it's now moved beyond it's a bit expensive into that's jolly expensive. Committed. There we go. Oh, ooh. There's some screenshots waiting to happen as soon as I hook that up to anything. Right. Okay. So let's maintain the battle plan here and actually hook it up to something. Right. Onwards. So this is going to be a good route. Now we're not far away from the Atlantic locomotive being introduced, and given that that's got a slightly more pace to play with, this is the length of route that's really going to get the most out of that extra speed, because the train will be able to maintain top speed for a reasonable distance. So something that were to run the 4-stop full route from Sioux to El Paso to Detroit to Santa Ana, that's going to be a very healthy earning train, that one. And while I've pile drove, while I have piled on, interesting. So we want something fairly plain in here. Blech. No. No. Yes. There you go. Normally I would shy away from such things, but in this case it makes the most sense. Yeah, I was saying something about things there, and I've completely ignored it. But this is going to make quite a lot of money. Ah, no, that's what I was talking about. What we were going to say here, or I should say, you know, I speak about myself in the royal we. I use that on a regular basis. But yes, I've put an awful lot of trains in service early on, and a wise individual, not myself, pointed out that maximum city growth per year is around 10% of its total population. Okay, so if it starts out with 500, the maximum growth it will get by the end of that year is an extra 50, and therefore delivering a stack of passengers isn't going to make that happen any faster. Yes, you will get closer to the magic 50, but it's not, in fact, going to escalate your growth in a significant fashion. So I don't know what the moral of that story is, but it is one that I am now adhering to. No, that's where I was going with it. So this lengthy route will space those trains out nicely, so it will mean I don't have to place more on there in order to get the most out of it. Right, here we are up in Santa Ana. Now, my thinking here is that we're going to want to run to Overland Park. I think that's a given. I think we've also got a route to Dortmund, or we do a route out of Strood to go to Dortmund. But we have most definitely a Dortmund, a Strood, Wolverhampton through the mountain opportunity going on there. As such, where do I want the station? I know. Don't get your postcards out to answer that one. I don't yet know. And furthermore, the intrigue, she continues. I'm going to avoid using the terminal. Instead, we will use a 4-tracker. No, we will use a 6-tracker, but 2 of those will be termini. So we will have a couple of services that just, finish their line in that area. The question is, where am I going to stick it? So we're coming in from there. We could now follow. We could take a bit of a swifty turn, come around and hit it from this angle, which might be interesting. Yeah. See, I mean, I quite like that. It's totally at odds with how the town itself is laid out. But when has that ever stopped me? Yes. And that one. Oh, that's expensive. That one's less expensive, and I might have already cleared enough. Pause before the AI gets any ideas. And go on, just snuggle it up into the middle of town here. Actually, it's less about the town not coping with it, and more about how am I going to connect up the roads, because that's maddening. That is. I guess you'd do a bit of that and some of this. That could look worse. I think the smart move there might be no. You're not helping. If we could get a straight-ish, so a parallel there. All right, okay, maybe you'll parallel if I go from here. Alright, now I know already that there are tiny little commercial buildings that might slot in there. I'd quite like to sort that kink out, but I'm not going to be able to do so without removing several more buildings. One building will be removed. That's acceptable. There you go. There, I see. Now we're talking. There you go. Get through. 2 buildings will be removed. Well, I'll remove them if this road feels like it's, 100% straight. Nope. Nope. Yes. There you go. Yeah, all right. Okay, my fears were unfounded. That actually looks pretty respectable. How the town decides to grow out from there, who knows? But that's not a bad place to go. So, if you remember, we were talking about having termini going on here. What I think we'll do is we'll have this one on the end here as an end of line. So I'm just gonna. I don't know what I'm going to do with that. I haven't got any buffers mods yet. Alright, that one's going no place. This one, however, will go onwards to bigger and brighter things. This one will continue out this way as well. Right? This one as well. Yeah. This is all temporary stuff, right? We'll fix this up when we've figured out exactly what it's for. Yeah, do a bit of that, do a bit of this. Like so. And I have bisected the town, so we're going to want to make sure that we can get people where they need to be. The simple way to do that is going to be just to fling something over there. Go on. How about that? No. No, 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 no. You're going to need a much longer bridge than that if you're going to make this work. That might. You start a little bit too far off, though. Let's go from about there. Yes, that's the ticket. Yep, that looks great. Okay, cool. Yeah, so basically this one, end of line. And that will be the end of the main line that comes up, that originates in sort of Sioux Falls. That's the idea behind that. Oh, hold on, let's actually build the thing, shall we? There we go. You can run out there. And everybody's happy. You can get under the bridge, which, makes everybody happier still. And of course, then we want to be thinking about, commuter routes again, because the commuter thing is not going to be a one-off to just one section of the whole build here. It's going to be all over the show. And then at this end, we'll probably. So this is the incoming route from Detroit. This one next to it will be the incoming route from Detroit that decides to go a little bit further later on. So I'll probably have something originating in Sioux Falls, maybe in Detroit, that doesn't stop everywhere and instead, takes in a significant amount of scenery on its way to places. Right, we're going to want to keep this relatively quick. I'd dearly love to run it along the side of the riverbank, but we do have this manoeuvre up here to make still. So we'll go for close to the riverbank. That's an ugly looking corner coming up. Alright, well, see what you can do about it then. Now we do still have the second 2 pieces of track to play with here, and they will come into their own later on. Right, have a look at it. Tell me what you think. Don't like the 60 you've got there, but actually at least the corner's fairly smooth. If I'd have thought about this in advance, what I'd have done is I'd adjusted the angle to be more acute coming up in this direction, which would have made that work. All right, we'll do that. Rather than, we're going to try for build it once, make it look right. Don't go anywhere. I'm just going to activate the pork barrel mod. Right, there we go. That'll keep us floating a little while longer. Once we're past major infrastructure, of course, I'll cease using it. And it's costing me $1 million just to bulldoze the thing. Gracious. But for now, this is allowing me to get something set up. Right, now then, let's smooth that out so it doesn't look quite so. Give me max strength here. There you go. Go on. That's it. Like I didn't make a mess. There you go. And do that bit as well while we're here. Right, okay, so bridge, yes, thank you, bridge. We want 4 tracks, we want 3 arches. We're now getting bridge pillar collision. That's exciting. Height 20, thank you. There we go. Right, now then, that's 1 extra turn. 2 extra turns. I think we're going to need 4 arches. This is going to be pricey. Right, now, I want to get from one side of the river to the other with those arches. So we're still going to have to do a little bit of cornering, I think. But it shouldn't be as bad as it was. How do we feel about that? That's much better, isn't it? We could even go up as far as here. Let's do that. There we go. Committed. All right, yeah, that's flipping lovely looking bridge, that is. Anyway, as with all other mods that are being covered in this series, that one is now going to be available, or will shortly be available, in the full collection for this series, the mod spotlight series. And if you're curious as to what it is and you want to get it ahead of time, you will need the common API, which sounds pretty thrilling. But fundamentally, what it's there for is to allow a little bit more scripting and language to be used when putting mods together. Very useful. You'll need that. It doesn't do anything on itself, but get that plugged in if you want this mod to work. And then you need the large steel arch bridge, which very much does as it says in the description. And that was made by the fine Epic / Bitch, which is a marvelous name, and Das Matzer, or Das Metzer maybe. I'm suspecting it's Matzer. Either way, they put the work into this, so if you do pick it up, tell them I sent you, and go like, jolly good work. It's a fine looking bridge. And worthy of my own game time. Right, we've gone all the way around there on a very tight curve with a completely horrible... I don't like that switcheroo angle we've got there at all. Now, I know the alternative is going to be some kind of swan neck, but what does that look like? Has that made any difference? I think it has. I think it's smoothed out a little bit more. We managed to maintain a bit more speed. All right, grand. Right, so the thinking here is that if the train's going no further, it goes into platform 6, I guess, as we look at it now. If, on the other hand, it has further to go, then it will head outwards to platform 5, whereupon it can continue its mission to wherever its mission needs to continue to. Right, let's get a level crossing across here. I don't like doing it, but I think it's going to be the most effective ongoing path. We'll run that round there. And that means that all of the additional lines here, they are going to terminate at this station, which feels quite harsh to my young mind. But I know, but that's exactly how it's going to work. We can go on, but we'll merge them in case they do want to continue out towards Detroit. That's just going to... That'll work. Yeah, I feel good about that. I feel good about a lot of things. Doesn't mean it's true. Right, let's... There you go. And a bit like this. Now, I want to try and make this curve coming out the tunnel a good one. Not a bad one. There you go. See, you've already that's setting a positive precedent right there. Which side did I go in? I went in left. I think that maybe going in right would have been the smart play there, but we'll worry about that when we're also transporting goods across here. Now, someone, I forget who, I apologise, I am absolutely wretched when it comes to name checking. But someone mentioned during the last series that they would far sooner see fewer dedicated lines So, you know, instead of goods traffic having its own setup, it having to share with passenger services, and I heartily agree. So the fact that I've set up a dedicated goods bridge crossing there is not me kind of going no. Passengers and goods, they shall remain yeah, strange bedfellows. They shall never cross the streams. No, far from it. It's purely an excuse to run the double width bridge. Frankly, there we go. See, look, I'm even setting this in precedent here as a come on, Mr. AI or Miss AI, whichever you prefer. Get yourself some housing built in there. Actually, that's quite pleasing. That. Let's do a little bit. Let's do another one over here. Don't get carried away. If you go too crazy, let's put a little one in there. Go too crazy with it, it will no longer be special. Right, and then we've got a country road to put in as well. So let's use the medium here to get out over to there. Right, okay, splendid. The only thing that remains here now is to stick in a few signals. Now, I spoke previously of the fact that you need, or that your towns will only grow by 10% per year in terms of population. But one of the things you can do to really speed that along is provide incoming passengers from as many towns as humanly possible. And that is exactly what I am aiming to do with Sioux Falls and El Paso. Detroit obviously is already set up to do so. In fact, it's what I'm aiming to do with just about every town on the map. You know, we're only talking about 10, 12 towns in total. So it's not going to take long to get them all connected. The challenge then is going to be, well, what do you do with them once they are connected? We'll get them all as big as possible, generating as much traffic as possible, and interconnected in as many different ways as we can think of, adding additional stations when it makes sense to do so. Right, now, I've got one more bit to do here before we finish this off. I've decided I am not running the commuter service any further than this, which means the commuter service needs to come back in the opposite direction. Now, coming up this way, it's going to end up on this side. I think actually it might make sense for it to end up in Overland Park. It would make sense for that to happen, yes. But that's not happening today. So what we'll do instead is we shall do a turnaround loop here. So if we head off like this, I could have it back, you know, just backing up. But actually, I like the idea of keeping some forward momentum, even if that leads to lower profits as a result, which it will do, because this particular leg is is being artificially elongated in order to make it do a loop rather than back up on itself. Right, how does that look? It's only temporary, so it doesn't really matter. Right, stick some signals along the way here. Actually, we'll put one in there, and then we'll put a couple in here. Now, these are only little short trains we're running down here, so I can have several opportunities for them to pause, should they stack up for any reason. Right, and then coming out of here, we're going to want... hold on, you missed one. You want one to ensure that the main line can do its thing, and the same going the other way, like that, and that should be sufficient. All right, let's unpause, and then we'll set these routes up. All right, we'll start with the commuter, as we were just talking about it. So from Detroit Grand Central, we next hit up Detroit South, which it isn't. That's north. Interesting. Yeah, okay, I'll rename that in a sec. And then we hit. We don't hit Detroit Grand. No, yes, we do. We then hit Detroit Grand Central again, but not until after we go to a waypoint, which we'll set out here. Now, I didn't actually need to use a waypoint there. I could have just used one of those signals, but hey ho, that's how I'm choosing to roll. So then you go via there, and as you can see, comes around quite happy, loopity loop loop, and then we'll stop at Grand Central. So I'm kind of harming the likelihood that this succeeds, to be honest. Because nobody is going to go around this turnaround in order to head from south to Grand Central. But to be honest, there's some growth needs to happen here before we get any kind of a result there at all. And actually, we're not going to get growth unless I connect this up to there. There you are. So that these chaps on the end here are within within fighting distance of the station itself. Right, okay, that looks pretty viable. It will undoubtedly confuse the heck out of whatever else is going on at the moment. I've seen... there we go, see, he's got stuck. Or has he? No, he was just waiting for the main line to go through. But that doesn't look like it. It is the main line. Peachy. Right, okay, well, we'll do that since we're in the area, and then we'll see where it's broken on the commuter in a tick. So from Grand Central here, no, here, yes, we will then head up the long route to Santa Ana. First time, like a boss, and then heads back down. As you can see, it's a terrifically long route, this one. It might be too long. Then Grand Central again, and then head on your merry way, and hope it works. Actually, one thing I do need to do on here is just one-way these signals. I've always resisted one-way stuff in the past in order to, just in order to allow trains going the wrong way once in a while. But in this series, we're going to try and lock in routes, given that the goal is going to be to run an absolute stack of services everywhere. And why are you stopped? You're going to Grand Central. Okay. You are the main line. Here's Grand Central. Do you need a signal? Surely not. Well, I mean, there are no signals between here and the main station. But all stations have an implied signal. But it couldn't get any further forward until after the preceding train had gone. So I'm going to take the unwise, and it will have people yelling, choice of I'll stick a signal just outside the station. Actually, we don't even need this crossover anymore. I'm going to regret that. There we are. Yeah, I'm at a bit of a loss to understand exactly why that happened, but it did, and therefore, so be it. I haven't locked in a particular destination platform here, have I? No. Alright, okay, I'm none the wiser. I don't know why that could possibly have occurred. But there we go. That's those two routes set up. Now, in order to really make these purr, ooh, there's a choice of word, we now want to add additional towns to along the routes that we've got going on here. So El Paso is obviously lending itself, or hinting very strongly that it would quite like to go and hang out in Gilbert, as is Sioux Falls. We've got those set up, and they're pretty much ready to go. Now, getting to Gilbert is going to involve tunneling through this minor hill, minor inconvenience. And some Burke has put a flipping goods line in the way. Now, I've got some choices as far as that's concerned. We can move the goods line up the hill so that we don't have to tunnel significantly. Or we do a quick, pop under and then pop up the other side, which is probably what we'll end up doing. But the next piece of expansion we've got for this is getting some food going. Now you've got fields over here. You've also got some fields here, but food processing we are a little short on. I mean, over here by Krakow is my food's destination, and I do want to distribute all of this stuff out of one hub. Because that will be incredibly profitable over time. The other option, of course, is that we have a secondary hub, maybe out here near Barcelona. In between the triangle of European cities, and then shuttle goods between the two. So all fuel is done over here. Maybe all food is done over here. Don't know. It starts to feel like the routes become quite convoluted at that point, and there is the very real risk that they don't work. So we'll play that by ear. Right, a quick recap of where we're succeeding and not. So here we go, Sioux Falls. We've got we do have commuting passenger waiting. We've got a passenger waiting for the train-based commute. And then as we get out here, again, same story. 3. Nice. Waiting to go to El Paso. 5 heading back into Sioux Falls itself. That's promising. We've got some fuel waiting here. Another passenger at the commuter station there. This is, it's coming on. What we don't have at the moment is much volume, but we are, we're getting there. Right, let's have a quick look at the money. Now, ignore the bottom line as ever. It is completely ruined by my using the pork barrel. What we're looking at is the delta between income and running costs, fundamentally. So last year, we had an overall gap of 2.5 million. That's okay. This year, we're in April at the moment. This year, the current gap is 500,000. So I think a similar gap is quite likely by the end of the year. But obviously, each passing year, the number of passengers goes up. Fingers crossed, if I've done it right. And as such, the money should do as well. The quickest way for me to resolve that delta is going to be to really ramp up my oil production. So at the moment, the conversion train is only carrying 70. I think there is easily demand ready for it to double up on that, if not go further. And goods is what we're going to pay attention to next time around. So thank you very much for watching today. Let's go and look at something new that we bet. You know what I haven't done? You talk about having something that is screenshot worthy, and then you don't actually look at it ever again. That's a problem. Now, where's the nearest train? It's there. Is it coming this way? Yes. Oh, I got 2 coming. There you go. That's the ticket. Right. Yes. So next time around, we're going to turn our attention back to goods. I do want to get food moving as quickly as possible. Hold on. Where are we? And no. Don't highlight it. Yeah, that looks good. That's the one. That's the way. Let's conceal the fact that the other track isn't connected to anything. That'll mislead people quite a lot, I would have thought. There we are. Get the cursor out of shots. Oh, the stuff that goes into taking a halfway decent screenshot. Right, there you go. Thanks very much for watching today. I've been Colonel Failure. Goods next time around, and a couple more mods to go with it, all being well. Chuck a like at this one if you enjoyed it, and please subscribe to the channel in order to, make my subscriber number go up. You get the bonus of not missing out when I upload something if you hit the notification bell, but I'm not going to dwell on that. That's your choice entirely. But make the other number go up. That always puts a smile on my face. I'll catch up with you very soon. Thanks for watching. Cheerio.